Hey everyone, I'm Daryl Stringer. Welcome to episode 11 of the Builder Photography Business Show. This is where I help photographers like you with photography, marketing and pricing. Now in this episode, we're going to look at 6 things you can do to protect your business long term. A lot of photographers seem to focus on very short-term goals. It's all about getting that next photo shoot done. But I want to help you build a stronger business. And I think these 6 steps that are focused on long-term growth will help you do that. After that, we'll have an open question and answer time. So if you are watching live, feel free to drop any questions or comments below this video, and I'll share your comments during the show. So in this session, I want to look at what you can do as an architectural or real estate photographer to protect your business over the long term. I see a lot of photography businesses that close down. I'm assuming that's something you want to avoid. So let's go through 6 things that will help you stay strong. Number 1 is get a business coach as soon as you can, and don't wait until your business is struggling. If you read anything from successful business people, they'll all talk about the great things that happen when you have a great business coach or a mentor or just someone that you can talk to about your business. And that's because it works. It's just a really smart thing to do. What I find a bit weird, I guess, is that a lot of photographers love the idea of having a coach, but they say they don't need one while their business is going okay. The problem with that is imagine you are going out on a boat for a 3-hour tour. Now, do you bring the life jacket and the emergency beacon with you when you leave for your boat trip? Or do you leave them at home and figure that you can always get back to shore in time if things get rough? Now, of course, life jackets aren't designed to be left at home. You want that life jacket with you all the time, even if it's like a calm day, the sun's shining down, everything is going great, because things can go from good to bad pretty quickly when you're out on the water. Now, it's really the same thing. You don't want your business... You don't want to wait until your business is sinking to bring in a business coach, because it might be too late by then. You want them there even when things are going well, because that coach or mentor will just help you prepare for any rough conditions that lie ahead. To give you an example of what a coach can do, I had a case recently with a photographer who couldn't get the payment out of a difficult client. It was really stressing them out. We spent like 2 days going back and forth on what they could do. I guided them through the process, and we ended up with the client paying the photographer. So, it was a great result in the end. I had another photographer recently who needed help putting together a quote for a large commercial shoot. So I was able to help them put a response together for this client. And I think it gave the photographer a lot of confidence just to have someone to bounce those ideas around with, instead of trying to do it all on their own. One final example, I had another photographer a few weeks back who asked for some feedback on their price list, and I was able to give them some ideas for how they could improve what they've got. And again, we spent time going back and forth through different options, and I know they found that really helpful as well. So that's just a few examples, and I think what's great is that those 3 photographers are also making big improvements in their business and are really growing things, and I don't think they would be doing as well as they are if they didn't have someone who could help them through those times when they get stuck. Now, there are a lot of business coaches and mentors out there, so you don't have to work with me. I'm totally okay with that. But what I want you to do is find someone you can work with and do it now. Don't wait until your business is struggling. If you do want to find out what I do, here's the address. You can go to my website. That's what you'll find there. A big description of what I've got. That'll tell you all about my coaching program, the cost involved, what's included, and all of that. Okay, number 2 on my list is diversify your client base. So you're working with different industries and diversify your services. Now, this is simple to understand, but the issue for a lot of photographers is putting it into action. So I want to make sure that you start doing this instead of just talking about it. And that's because you're putting your business at increased risk of collapse if you only work with one industry or if you only offer one service. For example, if you do real estate photography, but then the real estate industry comes to a halt for whatever reason, then you've got no work coming in. Or if you only offer still photography, and then say a pandemic hits and agents want 360-degree tours for all of their properties, then they're going to leave you and hire a photographer that can offer the services that they need right now. It's really important then that you add extra strength to your business by working across multiple industries and where possible, offer services beyond still photography. Tip number 3 then is to get good legal advice. Now, this is another one of those things that a lot of photographers avoid, but it's really important that you structure your business in a way that is protective and that also takes steps to protect your key assets. So that's yourself, your family, your home, and your images and intellectual property. Now, under certain business structures, you leave yourself very vulnerable to being sued by a disgruntled client or an employee or a homeowner. But if you structure your business differently, then they can still try and sue your company, but they won't be able to touch your personal assets. And that's really important. The other area where you want excellent legal advice is in regard to your images. Now, you want to make sure your contracts are watertight so that you can pursue businesses that use your images illegally, and so that you can get payment from a client that refuses to pay. For both of those situations, you'll want to speak with a legal expert who can guide you through that based on the laws where you live. Now, the 4th thing you can do is structure your business for the next owner as soon as you can. So one of the biggest paydays you'll ever have will be the day you sell your business. Now, that may not be something that you want to do for many years yet, but there will come a time where you'll want to hang up the tools and move into retirement or move to another career or something like that. If you've set up your business the right way, then your photography business can have a very real and tangible value to another buyer, and they can be willing to pay a lot of money to buy a well-established photography business. So rather than just thinking about how you want to do things, you want to set it up so that it becomes a smart business purchase for another individual. And if you do that, then it will also become a much stronger business for you to run, because you'll introduce systems that will help it to survive those difficult seasons. So it makes sense in a whole lot of ways. Number 5 on my list is an important one. Take steps to avoid self-burnout by delegating tasks and building rest into your monthly schedule. So, like, you might have a fantastic business and you're getting a lot of work, but if you burn out, then you may not be able to function for weeks or for months, and that's not good for business. So, a big part of structuring your business for long-term success is to delegate tasks so you don't have to do everything yourself. Now, you might start off by outsourcing certain activities like photo editing or your accounts management, but then you might take that further and have other photographers or other service providers on your team. And when the whole business is not relying on you for everything, then you can do much better at balancing time in the business with time away from the business so you can chill with your family or with friends. Honestly, it's a bit of a misconception. You're not weak just because you take a few days off. That's really a sign, I think, of a smart business owner who is playing the long game, and I think it should be celebrated. So by taking time away, you can then come back and operate it at 100% instead of being exhausted and less productive with your time. So does that make sense? All right. My final tip for long-term success is to actively promote your business and don't sit around and wait for things to just happen by themselves. So what I mean there is that you'll want to make marketing and sales an active and consistent part of your week. So you don't want it to be something that you squeeze in only when things slow down to a trickle. Marketing really is like the oxygen for your business, and if you turn it off, then you may not be able to hold out for too long. So if you want to do this right, firstly, give yourself time to do that marketing, and that might have some implications for your pricing and other areas of your business. And secondly, either learn how to be a marketer or get someone else to help you. I know a lot of photographers really struggle with marketing. So one of the things I do in my coaching program is I create marketing resources for the photographers I work with, and that's a real time saver for them. But if you want to go and do it yourself, just make sure you give yourself enough time to learn about marketing and also give yourself time to implement it in your business. You don't want to assume that marketing is something you can just do a couple of times a year. If you really want a strong business, then it should be something you do in some way right through the year, week in, week out. Seriously, just immerse yourself in learning the foundations of marketing and then do the marketing and your business will thank you for it. So just to wrap it up, the 6 things I think you need to do for long-term success are: get a business coach and don't wait until your business is struggling. Number 2, diversify your client base. 3 is get good legal advice. 4, set up your business for the next owner. 5, take steps to avoid burnout. And 6, actively promote your business and don't just wait for things to happen. Now, if you have any questions about that, as always, leave a comment below. I'll try to help. Or if you want to try my one-to-one coaching, then drop me a message about that as well. Okay, now it's time for some Q&A. If you're watching live, do you have any questions or comments about what we just talked about, or anything else that's on your mind? Is there anything we need to clarify for you around today? Let me know. Happy to answer anything. I'm just looking at some comments from, let me bring this up. Ooh. So from Tevin, he says, marketing, it's so difficult to keep up with and be creative. Look, I totally get what you're saying there, Tevin. It is difficult to match in the time. I think that's where structuring your business and the back end is really important to try to free yourself up for that, so that everything is not reliant on you getting everything done. So it's passing on other responsibilities that can be passed on to other people, and maybe it's looking at your pricing as well. I spoke in a recent session of these where we're looking at the relationship between marketing and pricing. So if your pricing is low, then you can't afford the time to do your marketing. So it's looking at how that all balances out there in that one. Someone else asks to know more about my services. Again, you can go to my website, buildaphotographybusiness.com/reps, and that's where I've got details about my coaching program. So you'll find that all in there. All All right, that's all of the comments I'm seeing so far. So if you're watching this later, drop a comment in below. I'll definitely get to it in the replay. All right, that's it for now. Let me just jump onto the next screen here. There we go. So if you want to follow me elsewhere online, that's where I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, or if you want to send me an email, daryl@builderphotographybusiness.com, if there's something that you want to chat about that you didn't feel comfortable sharing in a live situation in a video like this. All right, that's it for today's show. So thank you everyone for joining in. It's great to have a chat, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. All right, see you soon.